Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with a new video. And as you might imagine, it's Catterday. Catterday is Saturday and Saturday is Catterday. And as always, we do wholesome kitty fan service on this channel. So say hi RJ. Hey RJ! Alright, you can go now. He doesn't appreciate me waking him up from his nap. Although to be fair, he woke me up this morning at a terribly early time. At least for the weekend. I've actually been quite busy this afternoon being a responsible adult, aka taking care of my chores and errands. So this is the first time I've had a chance to sort of sit down and actually relax. So I'm actually going to be covering two topics today. One involving Kevin Smith and He-Man, as you can see here, and the other involving that Xavier game dev person that I did a video on. I think yesterday or the day prior. I've done several videos recently. And the reason I'm covering them both in one video is because even though the topics are very different, they both commit the same sin, let's say, of mischaracterizing, if not damn near gaslighting, the audience and misintentionally, in my opinion, misunderstanding what the audience argument or what the audience anger and frustration is. So this is first the CBR article, which apparently was just released about a half hour ago, so it's all nice and fresh. I saw this being tweeted and sent about by MJ Tanner, so I want to shout them out. They have a great channel, and they review stuff like this. They make great videos, very succinct and to the point, and they're probably much kinder about these things than I am. But anyway, so here's what the CBR article says. It's very short, which I appreciate. It says, Kevin Smith has a message for angry He-Man fans. Grow the F up. Kevin Smith, the mind behind the new He-Man series on Netflix, has some harsh words for the angriest of the critics of the new show. For those who have been following my channel, or especially Clownfish TV, or if you're on Twitter and you've been following this, you know that many fans, both within the Clownfish circle and outside of it, have been very critical of this show. Even critics, who typically tend to be part of the friendly media, like Grace Randolph, right? What's her channel called? Behind the Trailer, I believe it is. Right? Even she's been critical of the changes made to the show, in particular the lack of He-Man and the lack of positive masculine leads, right? So here apparently is Kevin's message, right? Because he's been trying to do damage control for a while now, right? He let it slip that they were going to kill Orko in episode 4 or 5, and apparently that is indeed true. Orko dies. And recently there was a clip of him gloating online about killing He-Man not once, but twice. Once in the first episode and then again in the 5th episode. So he's been trying to run around and do damage control because many fans have been calling him out for what they perceive, and I agree, is a bait and switch. They marketed the show on He-Man. Masters of the Universe is always intrinsically associated with He-Man, and He-Man does not play a large role in the story at present because he spends apparently a good chunk of it dead, and then he dies again, right? And it's more about sort of Teela and Evelyn and sort of other characters and what their lives are like and what Eternia is like in the aftermath of He-Man's death, from what I can gather. Which is not necessarily a bad premise in and of itself, but when you build that premise on a lie, people are going to be upset. And now, of course, Kevin Smith is upset that people are upset with him because he's such a mature individual, right? The most immature person probably in this whole conversation is swearing at other people, telling them to grow the F up. But anyway, let's review this article, right? So here's what it says. Says, warning, this article contains major spoilers for Masters of the Universe Revelation Part 1, now streaming on Netflix, right? So, let me just try to resize the, there we go. That's a little better. So it says, Kevin Smith has lost his patience. He never had his patience. If he had patience, he wouldn't have attacked Clownfish TV when they said that they were hearing rumors about what the show might be about a year and a half ago. But anyway, Kevin Smith has lost patience with a certain group of He-Man fans who are angry over the big twist in Masters of the Universe Revelation Part 1. The writer-director developed the new He-Man series for Netflix based on the idea of continuing the story of the original series. However, adult audiences who remember the original series from their childhood have issued harsh criticism and even taken to review bombing to bring Part 1's Rotten Tomatoes audience score down. The last time I saw the Rotten... In fact, you know what? Let's check it out right now. I'm going to pause it and then pull up the Rotten Tomatoes score. 1 second. Okay, so here's the Rotten Tomatoes score as it stands as of the recording of this video, right? So it says here that the average tomato meter, which I'm assuming would be the critic score, is 94%, but the average audience score is 30%. So while the friendly media might be happy with the show, certainly the fans are not. And of course, because it's so low, they're saying, oh, it's angry fans, it's the fans review bombing it. Well, I propose something else. I propose something else. I don't think it's necessarily just some fans review bombing, because yes, of course, there are going to be some fans who are review bombing it in both directions. There are going to be some fans who just give it a negative score just to do so, and there will be some fans who give it a positive score just to do so. I would surmise that what's happening is that the fans are expressing themselves, right? Because there are videos about this from the official channels for the show on YouTube, and they don't allow you to say leave comments or whatnot. Comments are turned off. So fans are simply doing what fans do. They find a way to express themselves, to express their opinions. If you won't allow them to downvote, they'll leave a comment. If they can't comment, they'll downvote. If they can't do both, they will go to another site like Rotten Tomatoes, or they might make their own videos or tweets or express their own opinions about how terrible it was. I saw a lot of people make videos when The Last Jedi came out about how bad it was. I saw a lot of people who don't usually make video content make content about Mulan, the live action Mulan when that came out, and that was seen to be not a good film. So fans, people in general, will always find a way to express themselves. You take away one avenue, they find another one. So I would imagine that that score is more or less accurate, right? I would imagine. But what's also funny is that just before the show debuted, there was a tweet floating around showing Kevin Smith actually sharing the Rotten Tomatoes score. Right, he was sharing it to show that not fans, because there was an embargo, fans couldn't see it, but there were some critics who were reviewing it and they were giving it a positive review. And he was all about, sharing Rotten Tomatoes. Right? He was all about that when it was in his favor, right? When the fans couldn't opine yet because of the embargo. But now that the fans are, leaving their opinions, expressing themselves, and giving it a failing grade and then some, Now they try to dismiss the legitimate fan anger and criticism by saying, oh, it's just review bombing, which of course is trying to invalidate fan opinion. I'm not going to say that there is absolutely no review bombing going on, but I would more or less trust the audience score over the critic score any day of the week, right? So there's that. There's that. So uh, let's continue, right? So it says here, Smith explained to Variety that he was convinced to even do the series by being told by Netflix director of the original series, Ted Biaselli. Biaselli. I yearned to watch the show I thought I was watching in childhood. Guess what? So did a lot of fans. That's what I'm looking for here. The same show, but people can die. Can you do that? And I was like, that's the only thing I can do. From the same man who consistently said in years past that he wasn't a He-Man fan, didn't give any commentary in the present about those comments or how maybe he became a fan later. Nothing like that. The same man who gloated about building up Orko and redeeming him as a character, claiming that the majority of fans of the show hated Orko, and then building him up. I did a video about this, right? He gloated about building up Orko just to murder him in like episode 4, and literally he said to make fans angry, right? To say, hey, I like that guy. Why did you kill him? And again, he was gloating recently about killing the character of He-Man twice. Yet we're supposed to believe that he was trying to make a show that was reminiscent of what people were watching in childhood, with the exception of the fact that now people can die. If people can die, then why the hell did you bring back He-Man again to kill it? Right? That's something that like DBZ and like Naruto does, right? Death is cheap. Why are you doing it here in He-Man if the idea is people can die? Right? But anyway, it says here, however, the big twist in the new series is that He-Man and Skeletor are seemingly killed in battle with each other in the very first episode, tearing magic away from Eternia and leaving the other heroes alone, with Teela being forced to take a more central role in He-Man's temporary absence. It's not his temporary absence, and she's not taking a more central role. She was always an important character. She's gone from an important character to now the protagonist character. There is a difference. She's not taking a more central role. She's taking the lead role. It was a bait and switch. You marketed on He-Man. People expected He-Man. And instead, you gave them I Am Not Teela. But anyway, it says, this has led to a number of fans angrily calling this new series a bait and switch, since He-Man is mostly only in flashbacks during the series. But guess what? Even if the opinions are being expressed in anger, that does not necessarily make them wrong. So here's another one. So it says here, Smith does not take those complaints very seriously. It's been interesting seeing who truly is a hardcore fan. Here we go again with the hardcore fan, right? Only hardcore fans are, right? This idea of the hardcore fan. Media shills like Kevin Smith think that hardcore fans can only have positive opinions, right? They must love every single element of a work. They can't be critical about anything, because if they're critical, well then they're just one of those meanie fanboys. And it's always fanboys, right? One of those meanie fanboys who hate women or who hate change or who hate diversity. Never actually addressing the concerns that the more critical fans have, simply labeling them a problem because it's easier than actually, admitting that you were wrong and made a poor product that pissed off people. Right? But anyway, he says, it's been interesting seeing who is truly a hardcore fan, he said. Because anybody that's like, oh man, there's not enough He-Man or something like that, doesn't understand the show that we based it on. Who are you to say that they don't understand it, sir? You're making the same erroneous argument that Leanna Kay made. There were episodes where he lost the sword and never became He-Man. It wasn't like He-Man saved the day. His friends helped him. That was the effing point of the show. Again, you are making the same mistake that Leanna Kay made in her tweet, and I covered that. This is not about having an episode or two, right, dedicated to a character who was not He-Man. The problem is that He-Man is the central character. That's what you marketed it on. Then, in truth, the story so far has Teela as the lead character, Teela as the protagonist. The story is about Teela and her life in the aftermath of Prince Adam's death. You promised one thing and gave people something else. I don't think the actual idea or premise is bad, though I do think that it's been, from what I've seen of it, has been executed very poorly. And the most poor part of it is that, again, you built it on a lie. You just should have been honest, Mr. Smith. And again, this is not about one or two episodes or whatnot that focus on a non He-Man character. The point is that even after those, guess what? The next episode was usually going back to normal, and it's about He-Man, right? As I said in my other video, right? Just like you had that MK Mythologies game that was all about Sub-Zero, but when MK4 came out, guess what? Guess who was the lead still? Liu frickin' Kang, because he's the protagonist of Mortal Kombat, not Sub-Zero. A popular character is not always the lead of the story. They don't automatically take over just because they are popular. Alright, so it says here, I see people online go, hey man, they're getting rid of He-Man. Like, you really effing think Mattel Television, who hired me and paid me money, wants to do an effing Masters of the Universe show without He-Man? Oh no, Kevin. I don't think they do. I think you fleeced them as well. I don't think they wanted a show with a distinct lack of He-Man. I think it's what you wanted. In the end, you made what you wanted to see. This has been the most egotistical thing I've seen this year yet, maybe. This is all about you. You weren't thinking about fans. You weren't thinking about Mattel. You were thinking about what you wanted to do, right? That's why you jump around giddy as a little boy on Christmas about the idea of killing He-Man twice or murdering Orko after building him up and making him likable in your eyes, because it's all about the story you wanted to tell. Even the whole thing about, oh, the skeleton man who can stab people now. That was something you wanted to see, Mr. Smith. This whole thing has been about you. It's not even a passion project. It's an ego project. You've been making love to your own ego via this work. And instead of just admitting that, you're now upset with fans, and in particular, Clownfish TV, who called you out on it a year and a half ago. And because fans don't like your vision, now they're not real fans. Now they're not hardcore fans. Now you have to come and do this interview and have this article written up to try to discredit their concerns and their complaints and tell them to grow up. Right? You are the one. If anybody needs to grow up in this, sir, it is you. Right? So he continued in a harsher manner. Grow the F up, man. Like, that blew my mind. A bunch of people being like, oh, I smell it. There's a bait and switch. If you smell what Kevin Smith cooked up, the absolute trash, right, the absolute stink that he left on this show because he could not supplant his own ego. Do you smell it? Do you smell it? Because it smells like egotism. Not a good scent. More importantly, not a good look, Mr. Smith. It would do better for you just to apologize and ask people to still give it a chance. But you see, you have too much pride for that. You have too much pride to actually admit that you were wrong and you pissed fans off, and now it's coming back to bite you. You made love to your own ego, but the fans don't exactly appreciate the display. Let's put it that way. So there's Kevin Smith, right? Mischaracterizing and damn near gaslighting what fans were actually upset about. So now let's go to this other thing. Right, so we have Xavier again. I did a video about him, I think yesterday. I did like 4 vids yesterday. Right, he was the one who was talking about how the situation, the argument behind why Rivet of Ratchet and Clank was not given a more traditionally feminine female figure, right? Why she doesn't have breasts, why she doesn't have hips, right? And his argument was that, well, it was, to make the women on the team feel comfortable and basically be a respectful presentation of a I think the term is anthropomorphic. Big words are not my strength, right? But to be a respectful presentation of a female character. And well, some people like myself, and in particular Vara Dark of Dark Tide Enterprises, disagreed with him. And so what did Xavier do, at least to Vara Dark? He blocked her. He's such a strong man. He's such a defender of women. He's such a feminist that when a woman told him she didn't agree, he blocked her. Right, but now he's back again. Tell your friends. And now he's shared some more thoughts on this because naturally now, people tweet and they retweet and they comment and they make videos. Right, so now he's enjoying all the attention. So let's see what he has to say here. Right, it says here, the best part about explaining why you didn't put titties on a space rat is that you get people coming out of the woodwork to tell you that putting huge titties on a space rat is a deeply feminist action. And I have betrayed women everywhere by not putting titties on a space rat. Well, no, sir. But here's what I find interesting about this particular tweet. He keeps referring to Rivet as a space rat, right? So isn't that being incredibly demeaning toward the character? Aren't you being demeaning, sir, toward a female character? Aren't you being a bit sexist by literally taking her identity away from her? Because when you were trying to defend yourself and explain yourself and try to promote yourself as a champion of women, and I did a video about this, right? You were proud to use Rivet's name. But now that you have experienced backlash, perhaps that you were not expecting, like from women like myself of Our Dark, now you're literally taking Rivet's name away and you're referring to her simply as a space rat. Well, that's kind of rude, isn't it? To me, I think that this is a true display of what you actually think. You don't care about the character. You don't care about female representation in games or how women are depicted in video games. Because the moment you don't get the response you want, you reduce the female character to space rat and titties. And for some reason, you keep thinking that breast must be large. I get it. Everyone's got a type. Everyone's got a kink. I get it. But here's the thing. Breasts don't have to be triple D all the time, bruh. They come in different sizes. I mean, women are indeed different. And you will see more and more of his sexism as we continue. Or rather, I should go this way, that way, this way, whatever. Right? But then he says, I do occasionally wonder if perhaps I should put huge titums. Way to be sexist and demean the breast. What feed children? What your own mother may have fed you from when you were a baby? Right, but yes, let's keep just using these, obscene terms to describe breast, to describe female breast, because you have such respect for women, sir. Right? Perhaps I should put huge titums on the one-armed space rat, so that people could more easily visualize her slapping them across the face with said furry mommy milkers. But alas, the opportunity is long past, and I have failed women everywhere. First of all, sir, we don't need any visual of your kink. I get it. Everybody's got a kink. Everybody's got a thing. But we don't need to know what yours is. I didn't care to know that you're a furry who likes MILFs, apparently. I didn't need to know that. Just saying. And speaking about one-armed female characters with huge breasts, I guess you don't play Guilty Gear, because if you did, or if you were familiar with it, you would have thought, Baiken! Baiken! You're describing Baiken! Except she's not an animal. But continuing, it definitely hurts to know I'm such a deep and miserable failure who can easily be compared to the folks like the ones mentioned in the Blizzard lawsuit. I haven't seen anybody compare you to the people at Blizzard outside of you. Are you trying to tell us something, sir? Is there a guilty conscience somewhere behind those purple glasses of yours trying to get out? Right, but let's continue. It definitely hurts to know that I'm such a deep and miserable failure. That can be easily compared to the folks like the ones mentioned in the Blizzard lawsuit, but I guess that's what I get for not putting enormous knockers on a space rat. No, sir, again, no one made that comparison but you. And again, you're mischaracterizing the argument. You see, you are the one, sir, living in fear of the female form, and you have quite literally reduced the female body to huge breast. This is literally what you seem to think females are. That we are literally just baba, baba. Okay? That's your problem. That is a you problem. That is not a me problem. That is not a Vara Dark problem. That is not a dude problem. That is a you problem. If you cannot look at a female character, whatever her breast size is, right, and see the character, if you begin and end with her boobs, then you have a problem. You see, you're the type of dude who would look at Samara from Mass Effect and just go, boobies, boobies, blue boobies, boobies. You wouldn't see the woman, you wouldn't see the mother, you wouldn't see the tragic heroine, you wouldn't see the hero, you wouldn't see the person, you wouldn't see the character. You would just look at the costume and go, boobies. It's so sexist, but I like it. What do I do? Learn to grow up. That's what you do, sir. Grow up. And maybe stop reducing the female image to breast. Because I was the one saying that she didn't need huge breasts. I just thought that River could have used some hips because her design includes a belt. You know what? Pants and belts tend to look good on women because we have hips. You freaking purple fool. Like, you shouldn't wear purple because Prince was more respectful toward women. That's his color. Take off the purple, man. Because you are certainly not his royal badness. You are his royal very annoying, but you are certainly not his royal badness. So take off the purple, get a new picture because you don't deserve it. That's Prince's color, not yours. But anyway, then he says, I'm glad so many people have been willing to educate me on the finer points of women's representation. Oh, like actual women. Like Vara Dark, who you blocked. You're such a brave male feminist. Like, you blocked a woman the moment she said she didn't agree with you. Right? The finer points of women's representation in video games, especially how I'm a miserable failure because I didn't put absolutely massive sweater puppies on the space rat. I want to do better. I have to do better. Well, I would say you should do better, but I don't think you will because you don't see the problem here. You think that you did something positive for the female depiction or female representation in video games by stripping the feminine from the design of the female character. Because apparently, again, you think that large breasts are all women are. That the female form begins and ends with boobs. That we don't have hips, that we don't have curves, that we don't have personalities, that we don't have long hair. Typically, I know my hair is very short. Right? Or that anything else that would denote a woman. Right? We apparently don't have any of those things. But we're just boobs. That's it. We're just boobs. That's all. Thank you for reducing us to our chest. Thank you for being a sexist, sir. So many angry people getting all hot under the collar. Oh, no, my collar's fine. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. So many angry people getting all hot under the collar because It don't think it's. I'm assuming he means they. Don't think it's appropriate for an alien creature based on a fennec fox. Oh, now she's a fennec fox. You've been calling her a space rat all this time. Well, thank you for clarifying she's a fennec fox. In a children's video game, by have to have big old knockers. But I do think it's appropriate for a 9-foot vampire lady to have large titums. Golly. Well, again, sir, you are associating large breast with something somehow being inappropriate, right? Let me show you something that was marketed toward children when I was but a lass. One moment. My, what is this that I see? It's Storm! Storm of the X-Men! And what does she have here? Breast! She has breast! Oh my days, oh my god, she has large breasts. What were they thinking showing us children a powerful black woman with a large chest in the 1990s? Oh my days, oh my days, I can't look, I can't look. I'm so ashamed. Let's see what else was considered okay for kids back then. All right. How dare they show the idealized female form in a children's cartoon in 1992? What in the world were they thinking? The minds that were corrupted. Oh God, why? Oh no, it's not again. Not another, not another large-breasted woman in a children's dark cartoon. Oh God, no, no, no! Take the image away. Take it away. Take it away. Do you realize how stupid you sound, sir? Do you realize just how dumb you sound? Here's the thing, sir. You might be amazed to learn this, but there are real women in the world who have breasts. Some are large, some are small, most are in the middle. And children are around these women all the time. They're their mothers, their sisters, their aunts, their teachers, their friends, their girlfriends, their lovers, their wives. Right? There's nothing wrong with depicting a woman with a feminine figure, with a female figure, with breasts, whatever size they are, so long as the design fits for that particular character, right? You are associating large breasts with something sexual and inappropriate. But here's the thing. Would I say that you need to have a design like, say, Ivy from the Soul Calibur games in a kid's show? No, of course not. That's way too adult. She's honestly too adult for teen fighting games, in my opinion. But hey, no one calls for her to be pulled, so I don't say anything. Besides, she's one character of many in that game. She has a design I'm not particularly too fond of, but whatever. Right? So yeah, if what's her face? If Rivet had a very sexy design, had a very skin-bearing design in a children's game, then maybe you would have a point because it would be the design that's inappropriate. But you literally are saying that a large-breasted woman in a game is inappropriate because it's for kids, right? You would be amazed at what is considered okay for children, sir. Maybe you should broaden your horizons a little bit, and maybe actually get to know women, right? instead of, reducing us to our boobs. There's more to us than that. I assure you. We have brains and we think for ourselves. But perhaps you don't like that, sir. I don't know. But I don't think you and I could be friends. Let's just put it that way. Right? But here's the thing. Both Xavier here and Kevin Smith make the mistake, and I think very intentionally, of mischaracterizing the argument. The argument with He-Man is that Kevin Smith lied and misled fans, and those fans are now angry. And he tries to minimize it or disregard it by, questioning if they're really hardcore fans. And this gentleman here, right, this purple-clad peon here, he decides that he's going to minimize the issue, right, by just referring to Rivet as a space rat and acting as if the whole thing's overblown. See, sir, the bigger debate here that whether you like it or not, you made yourself a part of with your tweets is what is the appropriate, respectful representation? What is the appropriate representation, respectful depiction of a woman in modern day video games? Can a woman still be feminine? Can she have an idealized figure or a hyper feminine figure? Or is it that if you give her a hyper feminine figure, then you are automatically sexualizing her and objectifying her and somehow being demeaning toward real world women? That's the debate here. That is the debate that you threw yourself in by tweeting about how Rivet's design came to be, right? Now you can tweet stuff like this in sarcasm and act like people are overreacting, but the only reason you believe people are overreacting is because they don't agree with you. People don't agree with you, so you try to make light of it. Right? But it's not going to go away, sir. You've stepped your foot in it, and now you have to live with it. So have fun. Have fun with people tweeting you and retweeting you and telling you exactly, pretty much, how they think you're wrong. And please, really, get a new picture because that's no way to honor Prince. But anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good day and night wherever you are.